Good evening and welcome to the fresh Kcca Fc TV show where we give you everything fresh, fresh news, fresh interviews, fresh guests. And speaking about a fresh guest, we have someone on the show tonight, fresh from the CHAN 2020 tournament, and he'll be telling us how everything unfolded during that tournament and also for the time he has been at the football club, his highs and lows and what he wants to achieve with the football club. But first, it is season 2, episode 10 of the Kcca Fc TV show. My name is Magero Mwanje. You and I are walking this journey together. The 4 players that traveled with the Uganda Cranes for the CHAN 2020 tournament that was played in 2021, that was in Cameroon, are all back. That is Bright Anukani, Brian Aheebwa, the forward, the top scorer for the Uganda Premier League with 7 goals. And then we also have Denis Iguma and the captain himself, Charles Lukwago, all returned to full training this week. And they're really practicing and working so hard to make sure they help the football club achieve its objectives and aims for the 2020-2021 season. Remember, these players have been away from around the 6th of January. That is when Kcca Fc played AS Kigali. After that game, they immediately entered into camp and flew to Cameroon to join the rest of the players that had already gone to Cameroon to play the pre-CHAN tournament. So then they joined the tournament and they were able to play a few games that was in the CHAN against Rwanda, against Morocco and against Togo. So all these players are back. Well, Uganda did not perform according to most of your expectations, but the positive is a lot of experience was gained from our players, especially the young ones. A player like Bright Anukani, quite a young player, and then Brian Aheebwa having his first major tournament ever, should be the biggest in his life. In fact, even most of them, players like Denis Iguma bringing experience to that team because he's been around the Uganda Cranes for quite some time. And the same to the captain. So we really thank them very much for flying the banner for Kcca Fc during the CHAN tournament and representing us quite well. And they are back at the football club. Well, the club is still in the Uganda Premier League and also in the Uganda Cup. And we want to win the 11th Uganda Cup plus the 14th Uganda Premier League title. Well, we're out of the CAF, that is the CAF Confederations Cup, but now we have to pick the positives from that, and now all sides, the objectives and aims are towards the Uganda Cup and the Uganda Premier League, and we know these 4 players that are back in the squad are going to help the team be able to achieve most of its objectives. So we welcome them back, and I was able to watch the training sessions during this week, and you got to see the whole positive mood in the camp because every team wants to have their captain around, that is Charles Lukwago. Every team wants to have their best players around, and those were our best players because they made it the Uganda Cranes. And you got to feel that everyone was excited that all these guys were back. So top class for these guys, and I should tell you, the squad is really positive and the sights are really up there. So the team that we are playing next, that is 12th February against Bull Football Club, it's going to be fireworks, I should tell you. Still talking club news from Kcca Fc. 6 of our players that are in Tanzania for the pre-tournament ahead of the AFCON Under-20 games that will happen in Mauritania, and that will be on the 12th of February still this coming week. Those players were able to participate in a friendly game that was against Tanzania, and that game ending 1-0 in favor of the Uganda Hippos, and definitely our assistant manager, that is Mole Viekwaso, in charge of that team, and he was able to, guide that team to that 1-0 win against Tanzania. Definitely that same team won against Tanzania in the finals of the Kcca Under-20 tournament. That was in Tanzania still last year. That was in 2020. So only one Kcca Fc player was able to start that game. That is Musa Ramadan, the defender, former captain for the Kcca Fc Soccer Academy. But then some other players came off the bench and were able to play and feature in that game. Players like Andrew Kawoya, who missed out the Kcca Under-20 tournament but has been able to join the team for the AFCON games, is part of that 25-man squad, and he's also a former player for the AFCON. That is the side that played in the AFCON Under-17 for the Uganda Cranes, still for that Uganda Under-17 side. So players like Sam Senyonjo still came off the bench in that one and featured, and you got to feel that they brought in some kind of experience because Sam Senyonjo is the 2nd top scorer for Kcca Fc this season. In 5 games in the Uganda Premier League, he has got 5 goals. So for a teenager, that is top class from him. We also had a player in Chizabu, Kenya, former player for the Soccer Academy for Kcca Fc, still coming on in this game, and he featured. The players that didn't feature for Kcca Fc were Kafumbe Joseph and Steven Serada. But you got to feel that at least they're part of the squad, and we got to feel that they really helped, especially in terms of the psychology for the players, because a player like Steven Serrada has been part of that team for quite some time. So top class for the players in Tanzania for the pre-tournament. Keep flying our flag for KCCA FC Higher. Represent quite well. You know, one of our values is excellence. So aim for excellence. And even after that pre-tournament, when you go to Mauritania for the tournament that starts on 12th, that is next week on Friday, represent the club quite well and make sure you just win that AFCON Under-20 tournament in Mauritania, because you're capable of doing that. So all the best to the 6 plus the assistant manager, Molebie Kwaso. Now remember last week we hosted the finance manager of KCCA FC, Michael Chirunga, on the show here. He was with me and he was able to give out the financial statements for the 2019-2020 season. That is for the past year from around June 2019 up until June 2020. He was able to release those numbers and we exhibited top class transparency, I should say, because you don't find the things at very many organizations. And just the highlight was KCFC still registered a loss, but at least the loss has been cut from 527 million for the 2018-2019 season, now up until the 42 million, that is the 42 million loss for the 2019-2020 season. So we got some reactions on social media. The fans reacted, definitely had to comment. And I will be reading some of the reactions from the fans. And that is on Twitter. We'll start with Michael Mwebe, who said, KCCFC revenue from football activities increased to 76% of total revenue compared to 67% for 2018-2019 due to player sales, merchandise sales, and stadium hire revenue, cutting operating losses by 485 million Uganda shillings. Good to see a club publishing financial accounts, and this shows transparency. Well, that is us. And still reading the reactions, Keza Brenda coming out to say accountability and transparency being exhibited here. Well done. And then the CEO KCCFC, Anisha Mohozi, saying one of our core values is accountability, and what better way to lay all bare. We are proud of where we are now, and like I have always said, the future is bright. That is Anisha Shahir Mohozi. And then Jules Karangwa says this is the way to go for our football clubs in the region to get professional, and says kudos. That is Jules Karangwa. There are quite very many reactions from social media. Lucille, that is Lucy Suvi, says the transparency and accountability you're exhibiting is top notch. Just like I said, well, that is KCCFC. Gonzalo May still on Twitter saying a bigger revenue in a pandemic year than 2019. Well, that is his opinion. And finally, we'll go with Timothy Michael Mochibi, who says transparency, accountability, my club. Thank you and well done on an improved financial performance. So that is all about the reactions from social media, from the various stakeholders, the fans at KCCFC. And we get to tell you that, yeah, that is in our DNA. KCCFC is really transparent. And we'll keep on having most of the things published and getting transparent, because that is the way to go. And we feel if the industry is to grow, that is how sport should be run in this country. Now, this week we had a very interesting question for the fan zone segment. And then we asked them, remember, KCCFC missed that game that was in Kigali against AS Kigali because we could not raise 15 players. About 2-3 weeks after, CAF revoked that rule and said that now for a football club to miss a game, they must have less than 11 players. So meaning if you have 11 players, a game can happen. That is if you have a goalkeeper and 10 other players, a game can happen. But this decision happened after KCCFC was eliminated, plus other clubs on the African continent that were able to also face the same problem during the CAF games. So we asked the fans, what do they think about the decision of CAF changing that rule from a team to kick off a game having 15 players, now changing the rule to, for a team to kick off a game, they have to have 11 players for that game to happen. And then we also asked them that the Uganda Premier League season is resuming this week, and for KCCFC it will be on 12 February against Bull Football Club away. How excited are they, and also what are their expectations now that the football club is only in the Uganda Premier League and also in the Uganda Cup for the remaining part of the season? This is what the fans had to say when we caught up with them. Have a look.
Amanya gange nze Jagwe John Baptist, omuwagizi wa KCCA FC. Amanya mpitibwa Mukisa Wile.
Amanya gange nze Haruna Mutesasira omuwagizi wa KCCA FC okuva Boyogerere.
97 nali mu P4 navanga ekipuli nga bwenzije kulaba training ya KCC batuletanga netujje Lugogo naye kuche nasanga Lugogo n'abazanyi be nasangawo Bekambo wa Mulebye Kwaso Ibrahim Sekajja Hussein Sali Medin Subuga omugenzi Wilson Gayi mukama mwechi muleche mirembe nga eyo cream de la cream botafuka muwagizi wa timu eyo oba muli azamanya eri timu ya KCC mutufu ekye kyampaliriza okubanga KCC njagala n'okutuusa kati
okuwagira kwa State Council sijja kujjukira mwaka gwe natandikamu naye kyemmanyi ti nalina mukadde wange mama wange yali muwagizi wa Villa ng'atwala ne ku Villa Park awo ne tulaba ku mipiira naye ndowooza nga mu 12 awo KCC yali ezannya Villa Nambole ate kati nze we nakyukira ne mpagira KCC mu kifo kya Villa era okuva ku olwo omutima gwange gwadda mu KCC ne guva ku mukadde wange yali ayagala nkole ekyokuwagira Villa.
Ekyakafu kati okuvaayo negamba nti kati amateeka ga COVID eyongedde negonzaamu nti kirabu bwebeera n'abasambi 11 nga golokipa kwali neeragira nti omupiira gunaagenda maaso. Nze nga omuwagizi wa KCCA kyampisiza si bulungi lwa nsonga nti emabegako wiiki nga 2-3 emabega AS Kigali yatujjamu naye nga embeera gyetujiddemu twasituka ne tugenda e Rwanda bwe twagenda twali tuweza abasambi 15 bwe baddamu ne batesting abasambi baffe ne batugamba nti ababiri balwadde ne tusigala abasambi 13 bwe twasigaza abasambi 13 etteeka lyali mbu litukwata nga tetuweza 15 so n'olw'ensonga eyo omupiira ne batulyawo okova ne gutagenda mu maaso. Essaawa zino bw'oŋŋamba nti kati ate bakkiriza 11 nze ndaba kaafu teyabadde feya gye tuli
naye singa kaafu yali yakiteekerawo mu maaso emabega wali kintu ekyo kyandibadde kirungi naye kale ku lw'omupiira ku kontinenti yonna buli omu abadde amanyi obulwadde bwa COVID era kyajjidde mu mbeera ey'omuzannyo nti omulala ayinza okukirabanga ekibi omulala n'akirabanga ekirungi naye kale
kati kaafu eringa egamba nti yali erina kyebaze n'ekikola ne kiggwa kakati yessaawa etereze obeerongoose ebyo byeyali etegese okukola mu nsobi.
Kubanga olaba omupiira twagezaako nga tukomyewo wano omupiira ne tugezaako okusamba ne tufuna goolo zaffe 3 n'olw'okuba nti eri baatunyigiriza n'olw'etteeka liri nti twali tulina kubeeza abasambi 15 kyatuyisa si bulungi ate essaawa eno bwe bavaayo ne bagamba nti ne bw'onoobeera n'abasambi 11 omupiira gunaagendanga mu maaso awo ndaba nga tebali feya.
Kirungi nti kati ttiimu ze zikyali mu kikopo kino zigenda kukyeyagaliramu ne bwe zinaba zirina abazannyi 11 bajja kuzannya naye ate kati nganze omuwagizi wa KCCA kimpisa bubi kubanga neebuuza lwaki kizze nga bamaze kunzijamu ate nga banzijamu nga nalina n'abazannyi abasoba mu 11.
Kyazze tetulina kyakola naye nga mu butuufu kyatunyiga ffe nga KCCA FC mu mazima kyatunyigira ddala era siyinza naga nti nali musanyufu olw'ekintu ekyo naye mu kaseera we kijjidde nga twavuddemu tetukyalina kyakola mukama bw'atyo bwe yageze.
Nze nandirowoozezaamu nti kaafu nga yo yandibadde efuna badokita abaayo lwa nsonga okweyagaliza kubaawo kuba bw'oŋŋamba nti ngaffe bwe twagenda e Rwanda okusamba AS Kigali nti federation yaayo bw'ebanga yereeta omuntu ajja okukola testi ku COVID ku tiimu eba ekyaddeyo nga munnansi waayo nze ndaba awo tewajja kuba bwenkanya kuba okweyagaliza kya buntu. Omuntu ayinza okutunulamu nga KCC bwe yagenda n'agamba nti kambalwazi ajja bakebeera bagamba basambibwe bati balwadde. So nze nandibadde nsaba nti kaafu yennyini esobola okufuna badokita abaayo ne baba nga bajja okukola tesiti eyo.
Tiimu ekyazizze beere ne dokita waayo bw'amala okukebera ne kaafu ereete independent dokita addemu akebere kibeere nga kaafu tekirekera makiraabu kaafu ekiyimiriremu in that nti tewajja kubaawo kwekwasa kwonna nga kirabu ekebedde ate CAF ne confirminga nti kyekyo ekituufu.
Tests ezo eza COVID ndowooza nti ng'omuwagizi wa KCCA singa ko olwo olunaku nali ku administration ya KCCA, dokita wa KCCA yandikoze tests ezo, tiimu eri eng'enyi naffe ntugyesasuza ne tusuula abazannyi baayo. Naye ng'omuwagizi w'omupiira kati nga si omuwagizi wa KCCA wabula omuwagizi w'omupiira, ndowooza kirungi CAF ebeere nga yekola tests ezo, nga yeyina omusawo akebeera ttiimu zombi okulaba nti bonna balamu, okusinga bw'okikwasa ttiimu ekyazizza okukebeera abazannyi ba ttiimu gyekyazizza. Kubanga kiri obvious nti bwe mba mmanyi ndi munafu, nina okunoonya wa wenyinza okukubira either technically oba mechanically. Kati omusawo waba weewange nga nze nkukyazizza aba alina okukolako ensobi. So CAF yandeddiza ekintu ekyo n'ebeera nga yeekebeera abalwadde.
Tugenda kukyalira bbuulu wiiki ejja, liigi egenda kuddamu. Nsuubira okukola obulungi kuba bw'otunulamu emipiira 5 gye tusambye tuwangudde emipiira 3 wadde tusobodde okufuna luuzi ez'ebbiri, naye eyo tetugenda kutunulayo, tugenda kutunula maaso ku mipiira gye tugenda okuddako okusamba. Era bbuulu beetegeke, manyi tugenda tujja kugyayo obubonero busatu kubanga abasambi baffe bw'obalaba beeteeseteese bulungi nnyo.
Tuba twakasamba emipiira 5, twakagobako emipiira 3, twakaluzinga emipiira 2. Ekyo oba okisuubira ng'omuwagizi w'omupiira. Naye nze nkakasa nti bwe tuddiramu liigi tuli beetegefu nnyo n'okusingawo.
City Council ejja kukola bulungi kuba abazannyi abalungi ebayina, eyina abazannyi abaali abalungi ba Brian Aheebwa, ba Balinya Juma, bakawooya, balukwago, ttiimu nnungi okutwaliza awamu.
Obubonero obusatu UPDF etukulembedde kati gye tutunuulira bwe tusinga ndaba kitono nnyo ku KCC. Tujja kusobola okudda engulu mu mipiira gye tugenda okusamba, tujja kugezaako abasambi we bali, tusuubira n'omwana omusaayi muto Kawooya ajja kutwegattako. Nsuubira nga tujja kukola bulungi nnyo era betuvuganya nabo nze mmanyi kati baatidde dda.
Ndi musanyufu nti abazannyi baffe abamu bagenze bakomawo, kugeza nga Juma Balinya akomyewo, Charles Lukwago olaba gift yali azemu okutraininga, nti Denis Iguma naye waali, Brian Aheebwa, Samu Senyonjo ne Kawooya sawa yonna ndowooza yamaze agenda kubanga ali cleared, Yasiri Mugume, Bright Anukani, olaba nga ttiimu yonna eri mu shape nnungi.
Kirabu olaba nga ejja kusobola okuvuganya kubanga ebigendererwa bya KCC buli season webanga etandika tuba tulwana nnyo okuwangula naddala ebikopo. Manyi bwe twalemereddwa mu CAF ne tuvaamu, kati obwanga bwonna tubwolekezezza liigi ate nga tujja kuwangula.
Interesting opinions from the fans, a number of them coming out to say that the club now has no option. The primary goal for the season was to get into the CAF group stages, that is for the CAF Confederations Cup. The club was not able to achieve that, but picked the positives and now has got to win the Uganda Premier League. That's according to the fans, and the Uganda Cup, because we're not giving any other club in the country a chance. Win the Uganda Premier League and get back to the CAF Champions League. Or also win the Uganda Cup and be a salon, just like we did it for the past seasons, those that have been around the football club when we attained that title for being a salon. So that is all about the fans, and that's what they think the club should do, and really take the opinions quite very serious. That is for the Kcca Fc TV show. And the people in charge really watch this show and they've really heard and listened to everything that you've got to say. So we'll be having the fans more in this segment for them to vent out and say everything they want to say because this is their segment. So we're going to be going to a break, and when we return, we have a guest on the show tonight, fresh from the CHAN 2020 tournament. He'll be telling us how the tournament was for him and for the entire Uganda Cranes team, and also what next now after CHAN, what are his goals for the remaining part of the 2020-2021 season. But everything after this break. Now, welcome back from that break. Just like I told you, we have a guest on the show fresh from the CHAN 2020 tournament. We'll have him introduce himself, and then we have his football journey and how life at the football club has been so far for the months he's spent at the club. So, Amanya Gafe.
Amanya gange ze Bright Anukani, Midfielder, Uganda Cranes ne KCCA.
Yes, so Bright, obadde Cameroon banga sidde nnyo. Tubulireko CHAN 2020 yagenze atya ku luddalo ne ku luddalo Cranes.
CHAN Cameroon go tubaddemu tabadde mubi era nze nganze omusambi nfuniddemu experience kuba yebadde tournament ennene kunze ku side yange era enyambyeko okufuna experience entonotono era ndowooza nsobola okuzimbiraawo nembeera nga tandikiraawo kaliya yange ey'omupiira nga yeeyongerako mpolampola.
Bright, wasobola okutandika emipiira gyonna esatu ejja Cranes mu CHAN. Kino olowooza kyavako ki bwesigwa kochi gyali eriggwe oba omutindo nti wali ogwina?
Ekisookera ddala coach aba alina okuteekamu obwesiga era bacoach banteekamu obwesiga okubeera nga ntandika emipiira gyonna era ne performance yange ku training era nali nsaba Katonda era nga nkola nnyo okubeera nga ntandika mu starting 11 era Katonda nanyamba bakochi ne banneesiga ne ntandikiraawo.
Wewe tujja kuddayo kemabega joininga club ya KCCA FC ku loan omwaka ogwedde tosambe nnyo mipiira mingi nsonga ebadde ki weewaawo waliwo ensonga abantu ze baali bawogerako abantu bayinza okubagamba nsonga ebadde ki ate n'ekyo biki by'oyigidde mu kaseera kano wootabadde ng'osobola kusamba mupiira ate n'emipiira emitono gy'osambye kuba wasamba URA omupiira gwo ogwokubiri KCCA wasamba AS Kigali ogwala ekitende so nsonga ki lwaki tosamba emipiira mingi awo abantu badde bakusubira nnyo okubeera ku kisaawe?
Ensonga lwaki saasamba mipiira gyasooka egya liigi lwakuba nali mulwadde wa COVID then awo wetwatuuka ku mupiira gwa URA kuba gwe gwali gusembayo nga tetunnagenda mu CHAN nga mponye nenzija nensamba wanayingira mu second half then omupiira gwe nasamba gwali gwa AS Kigali ogwa CAF gwe twavaako. Ensonga lwaki badde saasamba mipiira gyasooka.
Ndowooza gwaleyo owulidde nti omuntu osobola okuwona oyinza okulowooza nti ofuna obulwadde buno tosobola kuwona kasito kyewuliddeko omusambi ennyini gwesutula otya kati okuvaawo kubanga emipiira emitono gy'osambyeko wasamba URA AS Kigali wowe oli ku Cranes osamba emipiira esatu so weesitula otya gwe ng'omusambi okuba nti waddemu okwekkiririzaamu nti osobola okusamba?
Naddamu okwekkiririzaamu nti nsobola okusambanga kuba abali banneetoolodde bakwano bange n'abafamire era nga baŋŋamba ne baddokita nga baŋŋamba ebyokkola era nga mbigoberera era nga baŋŋamba togwamu maanyi osobola okuwona neoddamu era saggwamu maanyi era nalinda nempona then nenziramu okutraininga.
Kale Bright tugenda kuddako emabega otandika omupiira gutandikira omuntu ayagala kumanya ayinza okuba watuuka awo ng'okuze n'otandika okusamba omupiira abantu bagambe kariya yo gyetandikira ani yakwagaza okusamba omupiira ani gw'okuze weegomba story egyo twagala okumanya eyiyo?
Nze nakulira Luzira era mu tiimu banasookera mu tiimu bagiyita 11 Young Stars eya coach Frank era nenvaamu nga academy nenvaamu negatta ku Destiny Soccer Academy ne kati nekyuka sawa zino bagiyita Luzira Soccer Academy then awo wenava nembeera awo nensamba nengendako mu regional league team gye bayita Mutungo nensambayo season emu nemala nenzirayo era mu Luzira Soccer Academy first division kati awo kwe kuvaayo nenzija mu Proline Football Club.
Ogwa mu Proline wegatta ku KCCA? Weewaawo mukabanga kwosambire tusambe nnyo omupiira nti ngambe gwa kisajja kikulu oba mu gwa Uganda Premier League naye ebitonotono byenkumanyiko nti wangudde Uganda Cup wangudde Sekafa ne Cranes osambye ku CHAN 2020 tournament biki ebintu ebirala byonyumirizamu ng'omusambi ng'okula byewali oyagala okuwangula ng'omusambi w'omupiira?
Nze ng'omusambi neera ng'omusambi omulala yenna kuba oba oyagala kuwangulako ebirabo ebibeera mu zi tournament mu league oyagala kubeera best player oyagala neera okubeera kuba nominated kuba ku basambi abasatu abali wetwaliko Alani weyatwalira Alani Okero yatwalira wetwaliko ne Kiza nera nze ng'omusambi kyansanyusa nnyo kuba nange nali njagala kombeerekaawo nera nga nze omusambi kyanyamba nnyo era kyansitulako nnyo okubeera nga neeyongerako omutindo okubeera nga ntuuka wano wendi ttiimu ya KCCA.
Kituufu oyogedde ku awards za FUFA ezaaliwo 2019. Gugamba watuuka kasita watuuka oba okyalina ekirubi ati oyagala kuwangula ku awards ezo oyinza okugamba nti kasana tuuka ku podium ey'abasatu namala neera njagala kweyongerayo mbeere nga omwaka guno eno nga ngiwangula era njagala kukola nnyo okubeera nga mpangula engule y'omusambi asinga mu Uganda. Ani role model wo mu outside football nga totunulidde bya mupiira muntu ki gw'otunulira n'ogamba omuntu oyo mwegomba njagala mbeere nga ye nga si wa mupiira nga tali mu mupiira
nga si wa mupiira nze sikale nze ng'omusambi sitera kale kukolagana nnyo n'abasambi oba kale abantu nga tebali nnyo mu kapiira naye nga nze we nali nkula nali kuba be nali nsinga olabanga ewaka nga nkyali muto nali nsinga laba Muzamiro Mutyaba ne Saddam Juma neera kwe nafunire ekyo ekigamba nange njagala kubeera ngaabo oba njagala samba ngaabo.
Mulema akulya Luzira?
Bo nali mbalaba.
Musambira kasaawe kyawe?
Nali Luzira yeseso ekisaawe.
Wewe tujja kuddamu kati ate ku KCCA Football Club tiimu yava mu CAF kati tusigaze ebikopo bibiri Uganda Cup ne Star Times Uganda Premier League. Liga egenda kuddamu olw'okutandula wiiki ejja tutandika na Bulla awe ejjinja. Weewaawo kimanyi nti ojja kubeera mupiira guno kale ojja kuba mu squad. Muwinda biruubira ki ng'abasambi kati kuba luli nawo lya mwayina mission bagiyita group 14-11 nga limutegeeza mwagala kuyingira ebibinja bya CAF 14 nga mwagala kuwangula ekikopo ekya 14 ekya league 11 nga mwagala kuwangula ekikopo ekya 11 ekya Uganda Cup. Ekimu kyavaako ekya group wasigaddewo bibiri kati ekiruubirira erimu ekiri ki?
Ekiruubirirwa ffenna ng'abasambi neera twagamba kiri eri kyagenda ekyo ne tukivaako kati ne tusigaza bino ebikopo ebibiri twagala okubiwangula kubeera buli musambi yenna ali ku ttiimu neera ayagala kuwangulako ekyo ekikopo ate nga nze omusambi naye njagala kuwangulako ekikopo kya Premier League nziremu mpangule neera ne Uganda Cup omulundi ogwokubiri.
Abantu abali babuuza nti Bright ali ne KCCA FC mwaka gumu agenda kweyongeza endagaano yasigale ku KCCA oba naddeyo ku Proline bebibuuzo abasinga babuuza ekiri nti oli ku TV wano bakakase
saawa zino eno nkyalina omwaka gumu ne KCCA era tetunaba kubiteesako ebyokwongerako contract naye omwaka we guba guweddeko tusobola okuteesa.
Weerabawa mu myaka 5 mu maaso kuba kati olina emyaka 2 weerabawo mu myaka 5 mu maaso ng'okyasambira omupiira mu Uganda oba oli bweru oyagala kusanga mu liigi ki gwe weegomba?
Emyaka 5 mu maaso mba nze nga nze omusambi saagala kubeera nga nsigadde muneeno mu ggwanga kuba buli musambi ali muno mu ggwanga ayagala kufulumako kusambirako ebweru w'eggwanga naye kati nga nze omusambi njagala liigi nze gye nsinga okwagala osambiramuko eya Spain.
Mu club ki?
Club Barcelona.
Onookola ebintu bya Xavi?
Sijja kufaanana nga ye naye nga nja kukola ebyange ebya Bright.
Kiba kirungi okubeera n'ekirooto. Musambi ki asinga okuba mukwano ku club ya KCCA FC? Tulina abasambi 30 oli omu kwabo mu 29 ani mukwano gwo asinga?
Mukwano gwange asinga Fadi Mugume Fadiga kale mukwano gwange kuba simulabidde sitandise mulabira wano ku KCCA naliko naye ku Proline ne mulaba n'ebinene by'amasomero naye kopa ne zino academies zetwalingamu.
Bright osamba emipiira mingi ku myaka gye mitono nnyo, osamba ate emipiira ddala ku level ennene ne ku level eya wansi nga wagambye gye watandikira. Mupiira ki gwe wali osambi n'ogamba nti guno omupiira sitegwerabira gwe gwali gukyansingidde mu bulamu bwange?
Ogw'okusamba
gwe wali osambi?
Nali nsambi. Gwali gwa Uganda Cup. Uganda Cup. Twali ogwo sinyo twali tusamba Vipers. Uganda Cup yali quarter Lugogo. Twagikuba 2-1.
Whatever.
Ogwo saateba.
Wakola
assist.
Lwaki gwe gusingira?
Gwe gunsingira kuba ekisooka abantu abantu bonna bali bamanyi proline evuddemu Vipers neera nga abasinga bonna Vipers bagitutte dda ku semi. Then ffe nga abasambi ne tutuuka ne tugamba bano tusobola okukola ki, tusobola obbajjamu. Ne tugenda mu kisaawe neera ne coach Shafik Bisaso yaliwo neera naye ng'atugumya ateekamu amaanyi nga musobola. Then ne tugenda ku kisaawe ne tukikola ne tuyitawo.
Ate ogwa Kcca Senior Challenge Cup ng'otebamu ku final tuli 2019?
Ogwo n'ogwo nagwo neera gwe gumu.
Ogwo wateba goal yasooka ya Uganda?
N'ogwo neera nagwo gwe gumu ku mipiira gye nzijukira ejja nze ng'omusambi ejjangendera obulungi ate ejjansanyusa.
Ekisembe omupiira gw'otalirabira gwali omubi ku lulwo n'ogamba guno omupiira nange neewuunya oba yali Bright kwogwo nga gwali mubi oludda lwo?
Si mingi.
Totera kubeera emipiira mibi?
Sitera naye ndowooza guno ogwasooka wetubadde mu CHAN ogwasooka ogwa Rwanda 0-0
tewali musanyufu n'omutindo gwo naye wasobola okwesitula n'oteekawo performance mujjaddako. Kale obugambo obwo busemba ng'osiibula omulabi wa KCCA Fc TV, obugambo obwo busemba omugamba ki omuwagizi muzeemu amaanyi twava mu CAF ne CHAN yakaggwa ebyavuddeyo tebyadde birungi nnyo naye tukyali mu Uganda Cup ne Uganda Premier League. Ebigambo ebibisemba ng'omuzaamu amaanyi nti emipiira gino egitandika olwokutaano wiiki ejja.
Emipiira egitandika ku lwokutaano nga lijezeemu ffe ng'abasambi tujja kukola ekisoboka okubeera nga tuwangula emipiira era nga tugenda ku ntikko n'okuwangula ekikopo kya Uganda Cup ne League era ffe ng'abasambi kyekigendererwa kyaffe. Ate nze nganze omusambi nange njagala nnyo owangula League ne Uganda Cup omulundi ogwokubiri.
Kale webale nnyo Bright, tujja kweyongeza nga season egenda mu maaso kimanyi ojja kukola ebyewuunyo bingi era tukomyewo wano ku TV ya KCCA FC osobole okwogera eri omulabi. Thank you very much. That has been Bright Anukani, shirt number 20 at KCCA Football Club, fresh from the CHAN 2020 tournament, and he has told you about everything that happened at the CHAN, the experience that he gained. He has also told you part of his football journey, where he started football from, his best and worst moment in football, and also things that we'll never forget in his career. He's going to be playing for KCCA FC for the entire 2020-2021 season because he's on loan from Proline. Hopefully, he'll be able to stay at the football club. Now we'll be going to a break, and when we return, we still have more on the show. The players speak ahead of that game between Bull Football Club and KCCA Football Club next week, 12th February, away in Jinja. But everything after this break. Now welcome back from that break. I told you earlier that the Uganda Premier League will be resuming this week, and some games have already been happened. That is for the clubs that had games in hand. But for KCCA FC, our first game will be on 12th February. That is the 6th game for the Uganda Premier League for this season, but the first game after that long break from around December up until this month in February. So KCCA FC will be traveling away to play Bull Football Club, and that will be on 12th February. That is on Friday. I remember the fixture that was against Bull Football Club last season. KCCA FC lost very miserably to Bull Football Club. That game ending 3-0 in favor of Bull. That was in Jinja. because of the pandemic, we did not get to play Bull Football Club at the MTN Omondi Stadium. But had we played them, but let me tell you something about this fixture. We lost 3-0. We had everything you felt on the day. We should have won that game. But, I mean, just like they say, football is football. And, I mean, everyone has their own tale about football. We didn't get to win that game. But we are getting back, and it's time for revenge, I should say, because we are boosted by the 4 players that have returned from the CHAN 2020 tournament. The captain himself, Charles Lukwago, is in the squad and will be part of that one. Bright Anukani is back training. We have the defender, the experienced one, Denis Iguma, part of the squad training. We have the top scorer of the StarTimes Uganda Premier League with 7 goals in 5 games, Brian Aheebwa, part of the squad. That is the Kcca Fc squad and training with the team. We have players that are really recovering quite well from injury. Players like John Revita will not be part of that squad. It's still early for him. But you get to think that he could even feature this season. He's been training with the football club, but a little bit alone. But at least he can run. We have players like Balinya Juma, who missed most of the first 5 games that we played because of injury. Part of the club now training. Moses Alido, who missed the game against AS Kigali, part of the club training now and part of that squad. Guys, apart from the 6 players that are in Tanzania, those are the under-20 players, Musa Ramadan, Kafumbe Joseph, Chizabu Kenya, Steven Serada, Sam Senyonjo, and Andrew Kawoya. Those are the only 6 that will not feature in this one, plus the injured ones. But the other members part of the squad are really training quite well. Guys really want to go for it because they are out of CAF. They really wanted to be in the group stages, but now that is gone. Now the goal is to win the Uganda Premier League, get back to the Champions League, that is the CAF Champions League, and also win the Uganda Cup and get that title of being a Salongo. So the players are quite well boosted. It's been a very good, should I say, a mini pre-season because it came in the middle of the season from about 6th January when we got out of CAF up until today. The players have been training quite well. Even when we took that election break and got back, you got to feel the spirits were really up for the players. So we are just waiting for the D-Day, which is 12 February. Get on from there up until the end of the season because we want to win everything that crosses our way. So that's all about the preparations ahead of this one. And we caught up with some of the players ahead of this one and asked them what do they exactly want to achieve with Kcca Fc this season. What do they think will be the outcome from this game? And also, what are their aims and objectives going into this other part of the season? This is what the players had to say when you caught up with them.
It was a tough period for us. We had a thin squad. A lot of players out with COVID. Other players, were out with the different national teams, senior team, under 20s. So we had a thin squad. But, we're not looking to make any excuses. We lost the last 2 games and it still hurts. But we've got to move on, It's a marathon, not a sprint.
I've learned so many things. I had in the recent games we played against SC Kigali and URA. And we managed to learn our mistakes, and we have been training we have been training them and to see how we can manage to win those February matches.
Tubadde okusingesira tuli focusinga nnyo ku transition, like tugenda tutya mu maaso ate tu defendinga tutya nga team, cause strategy yaffe esooka twagala butatuteeba, cause we batakuteeba at least omanya nti draw yogise kiwalinze, naye team yaffe tugenda mu game nga tetunoonya draw, tugenda tunoonya win.
It's been difficult, honestly. I think a lot of the fans and players and the coach, everyone knows that obviously I'm not as physical as other players. I've never been. I also have a lot of years to catch up in terms of training and playing at such a level. But I'm working on a program to put on some weight and muscle. And it's going to take some months, of course. But I'm not here I wasn't signed, to play a physical game. I was signed for other attributes. So every day, come here to training and trying to help the team any way I can. And when the manager gives me another opportunity, I gotta show up and play well.
We have been preparing well ahead of our February fixture. The guys are ready. We have managed to play some of the friendly games, and we have been successful in them.
So we're excited for the league to resume, and we're very prepared. We've been training hard since a few weeks now. So we had only a short break to recover, recharge our batteries, and get back on it.
Bakochi batutegese bulungi batuwadde ebimala naffe ng'abasambi
kwegamba tuli bulungi mu mbeera zaffe ez'obulamu, embeera z'ekisaawe ne mu mbeera zonna zonna wano ku club tuli bulungi.
Of course, away games are tough in any league, but in Uganda even more so because, as you say, there, you know, a lot of teams have natural grass. They have very big pitches, and it's hard to play football like you know, we do at home. And that's the style, you know, our manager wants us to play. We really want to play attractive, offensive football, and it's hard to do that on away games. You know, tough opponents that just play long balls and physical football. So, you know, we're still finding our feet. We brought a lot of new guys in this year, so we still have to, you know, get some playing time together. And I'm sure sooner or later, you know, we're gonna get back to form and win games again.
Heading to the match against Bull next week, I think we should not undermine the team because we lost to them 3-0. Going into that match, I think we have to give them some respect.
You know, for KCCA to lose 3-0, you know, it doesn't happen often in a season or in general, especially in the Uganda Premier League. So I'm sure some of the guys here have that feeling of revenge, in the sense that they don't want to put up such a poor performance again. So definitely motivated. We have, as you say, 2 big games coming up: Bull and Express away, and those are 2 must-win games. Those are the 2 games that we're focusing on right now. We got to go there with our game plan and execute, because if we execute game plan as our coaches have trained us to do, then we can beat any team in the league.
I learned a lot when we played against Villa, our first away game. We did a lot of mistakes, and we managed to learn them, and we have been training on them. And I'm very sure we're going to get those points because we learned a lot during that game.
Era kyetusuubiza club oba n'abawagizi baffe nti game gye tutandika nayo tugenda gigoba, ne game eddako tugenda gigoba. First game tuli awe tusamba Bull FC ewaayo, kyendi sure nti tugenda kugoba. Then after Bull tuzaako Express. Tukyabasambya abagenze under 20 fine, buli musambi tuli basambi banjawulo. Era like tugambe bw'oba tolina Serradda osobola ofuna replacement ya Serradda, naye tukyusa qualities. Nyinza obba nze nga Kigozi nga nsobola oteeba, naye nga ate Serradda asobola ocreatinga. Kitegeeza paati ya Serradda eyo creating emixage obeera ogimisinzeemu, naye kyendi sure nti ttiimu yaffe erina buli kika kya musambi, era bajja tusanga nga tuli bulungi nga tugobye then batwegatteko. Mpozi ku kyabannaffe abavudde mu CHAN tuli basanyufu nnyo cause ku bana ababadde mu CHAN kwe kuli ne kapiteeni waffe Charles Lukwago. Automatically training yo nayo n'omuli kapiteeni, era ebaako n'enkyukakyuka okitegeera. Kwegamba tuli boosted n'okomawo kwabwe.
Our major goal going forward is to win the Uganda Cup and win the championship as well, so that we go back to the group stages or we go back to the Champions League and Confederations Cup.
I know the fans have been disappointed, but we are going to work on our mistakes and to make them happy, because we also feel the same, and we want to work a lot to see that we give them happiness, and which we have been doing, and we are very, very prepared.
Goal kuwangula, tewaliwo kirubirira yadugamba nti kankirowooze nako. Goal ya kuwangula league, ya kuwangula Uganda Cup, cause ekya CAF Confederation ekyo kyo twavaamu olw'embeera buli omu gye yategeera. So kati aim yaffe ya kuwangula league na Uganda Cup kyekirubirirwa kye tulina essaawa zino, era kyekiri mu buli mutwe gwa muntu ne preparation zonna ze tukola za kuwangula buwanguzi.
Interesting opinions from the players, all of them coming up to say that they really want to win the Uganda Premier League and also they want to win the Uganda Cup. So the players are really focused, just like I told you. It's been a wonderful mini pre-season, and the squad is, we may not have a full squad of 30 like we registered, but about 20 players are available and they're able to feature in this one, apart from the 6 that are in Tanzania for the mini tournament and will be traveling to Mauritania for the AFCON under 20 tournament. So that's all about the preparations ahead of that one, and I want to tell you that fans can watch our games, especially the home games for KCCA FC. Ensure you have a season ticket, and the games will be at the MTN Omondi, the ones that will be playing at home. Do not be told that because we are constructing. No, we shall have the site being constructed. That is the first phase works happening, but the stadium itself, games will be continuing happening, our home games. So, but the first game we are playing on 12 February is away against Bulls. So make sure you get that season ticket and you'll be able to watch all our home games. And we only have slots for only 200 fans, according to FUFA, after getting those guidelines from the Ministry of Health. So that's been it for this week's show. I told you we had a guest on the show, fresh from the CHAN 2020 tournament, and he told us how that tournament went for him and for the entire Uganda Cranes team and what goals he wants to achieve with the football club going forward. And then I told you about the club news, our players that are under 20, they keep on representing the football club quite well, a mini tournament in Tanzania, and they'll be flying to Mauritania for the AFCON under 20 tournament. I told you we have 4 players back in the squad, those players that are from the CHAN 2020 tournament, and the mood in the camp is quite high, I should say, and we're ready to take on anything that will cross our path, that is for the 2020-2021 season. We'll be back next week to tell you everything that happened from the Uganda Premier League game that we shall have played against Bull Football Club. And I want to tell you that you can also watch this show on our YouTube channel, that is KCCA FC. That is tomorrow on Monday, it will be uploaded. And you can also follow the club on the various platforms, on Twitter, KCCA FC, on Facebook, KCCA FC, on Instagram, at KCCA FC, and also on YouTube. Subscribe to that page and be able to watch everything that you want to watch about the football club, the highlights, the games that you've missed, the interviews with the players, the KCCA FC TV show, various episodes, so everything. And next week we'll be back with episode 11, season 2 of the same show. My name is Magero Mwanje. Have a good night.